Ever drove that side-by-side last, hit some dirt or some mud, and that is a pattern that's left in mud on the tire. And in my opinion, it transferred to Miss Maggie Murdaugh's calf.
What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris. In today's video, we're going over one of the biggest questions we've seen in live shows and my videos down in the comments. And that is, was Maggie ran over by the golf cart and was Alex driving it around shooting at Maggie? So I found some answers along with some speculation into how I think it all went down. So please stay until the end, and thank you so much for watching. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover murder, mystery to the missing. So since Steve and I have covered the Alex Murdaugh case extensively and reenacted many aspects of the crime scene, there is one thing that has a lot of people wondering and still speculating on, and that is, was Alex Murdaugh driving around and shooting from the golf cart, and did he run Maggie's leg over since she had a tread mark on the back of her left calf? Well, after going back and listening to what was said by the expert from the prosecution and looking at different angles, I believe I have an answer to both questions. Of course, this is just speculation, but I feel pretty confident in this theory. So we have to back up to where Alex, Paul, and Maggie had just finished dinner, approximately around 8:30. Now there is one of two scenarios from here. Either they all ride over in the golf cart to the kennels, or, and according to Alex, Maggie and Paul take off first, possibly in the golf cart, and then Alex would leave a little bit later, either taking the other golf cart, or after studying this case, I believe he could have actually taken the side-by-side ATV, and before he leaves, he loads a shotgun and or the blackout in the back. Either way, they would all get down there, and I would assume the golf cart would have been parked close to the kennels, and the ATV, if it was driven by Alex, would have been parked under the red overhang. Now we know that Paul was shot up close in the feed room, and there was no golf cart involved there. Then right after Paul was shot, you would most likely have Maggie running over to see what was going on, maybe thinking it was some kind of accident. Now this is where some believe Alex would have gotten on a golf cart and started to shoot Maggie, and then eventually would run her over. Well, for one thing, it wasn't the golf cart that ran over Maggie's leg. It was actually the ATV / side-by-side, but we'll discuss that in a minute. But if we look at an overhead view of the crime scene and using Steve's breakdown of what happened, there's approximately 4 positions that Maggie was being shot at. We know the last position was near the doghouse and where her body was found. From there, you'd work the scene backwards with the shell casing locations, the wounds to Maggie, the defects to the environment, and this will tell you a story from A to Z. Now, most likely the first wound she encountered was the angled downward shot to her left thigh coming from her side, which means somebody came up and approached her flank. 2 shots were fired, with 1 missing and 1 making a crater in the dirt. Now this would most likely be the starting point, and if you try and put a golf cart between her and the red overhang, would mean that you would be on the driver's side. But as you approach position 2 and 3, there becomes a big problem, because now you have the victim on the passenger side of the vehicle, and from there it wouldn't make sense because the shell casings would most likely eject into the cab of the golf cart, and there's too many problems at this point on the last few shots from the position 4 where this happened in close proximity. So in my opinion, that did not happen. So how did she get the tire tread on the back left thigh? Let's listen to the expert explain what he says.
Maggie Murdaugh's left calf, and this is the photograph of the known front driver's side tire of that side-by-side.
All right, and when you refer your expert opinion that this mark on the back of Maggie's leg is a tire impression and not anything else?
That is a tire tread impression. That is my opinion. Right. Ever drove that side-by-side last, hit some dirt or some mud, and that is a pattern that's left in mud on the tire. And in my opinion, it transferred to Miss Maggie Murdaugh's calf.
So he says that is likely a match to the side-by-side / ATV. But was she ran over? Because only 1 leg had a tire tread on it. and her legs were fairly close together. So how did this happen without both legs not being ran over? If you notice, he said that there was some dirt on the tire tread and Maggie. I think just after the shooting had finished, you have the golf cart that Maggie and Paul drove over, sitting close by to the kennels, and then you have the side-by-side ATV sitting exactly where it was found when first responders showed up. I think just after Alex finished cleaning himself off and wrapping up the hose, it would be completely dark outside, minus whatever lights were on. I think Alex wanted to get back to the house quickly, and since ATV is faster than the golf cart, I think he hops on the ATV, which is just feet from where Maggie's body is, and he attempts to go forward and hits her left calf and quickly backs up, as if you were going up onto a curve and you quickly back off. This would explain why just one leg had a tire tread and not both legs. And so I think he backed up and exited the vehicle, because I believe he would be worried about if he had driven over Maggie and then driven the ATV back to the house. It'd be a good possibility he would leave a blood/DNA trail that would lead right back to the house, and that obviously wouldn't look good. So at this point, I think Alex would have took the golf cart back to the house. There's also one other theory that could explain the tire tread on one single leg, and that is, in the commotion of everything going down, and with Maggie running from her shooter, she could have backed up into the left tire tread when standing and caused that impression by bumping back into the ATV. This would explain why there is no mention of bruising on that leg that one would expect to see if her leg was actually ran over. If you haven't seen our latest reenactment by Steve explaining the low-angled shot that entered the quail coop, please go check out that video. It's in the top right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Please smash that like button. See if we can get to 5,000 likes. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and thank you guys so much for watching.